Speaker, my next question to the Minister of Training, Colleges and Universities. Minister, earlier this week, the Ontario Electrical League attended consultations held by the College of Trades Appointment Council in Ottawa. Shortly after that, in the media, Pat Dillon, the chair of the Appointment Council, attacked the OEL for its position on apprenticeship ratios. The Ontario Electrical League has responded by saying, quote, "It is completely unacceptable for a public appointee, Mr. Dillon, to smear stakeholder organizations that are appearing before them. He cannot continue in this position and are calling for his resignation." Minister, has Mr. Dillon now offered to resign? If not, are you going to hold him accountable?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I find it interesting that the members across the way can't take yes for an answer when it comes to the issue of apprenticeship ratios. We have had discussion and debate in this chamber for a number of years about apprenticeship ratios, and the government has asked for, has put together the College of Trades so that they could go out and undertake consultations, a wide range of consultations in the issue of apprenticeship ratios. We welcome input from all sides so that they can move forward with a solution which is fair, a solution which makes sense, and a solution which is going to help build the apprenticeship system here in the province of Ontario. I'm proud of the work that's being undertaken by the College of Trades. They are reaching far and wide. There have been ongoing consultations across the province, and we look forward to them coming forward with a fair and reasoned approach.
Supplementary.
Well, no wonder, Speaker, the minister avoided my question completely. This is about the consultations. It's about, Speaker, the person you've appointed to head up these consultations, and it certainly appears that the game is fixed. Speaker, we know who Pat Dillon is. He's the head of the so-called Working Families Coalition, an American-style group that colludes with the McGuinty Liberals on $7 million of attack ads against PC candidates in the last 2 elections. And it has become so clear, Speaker, that Mr. Dillon is so much a Liberal partisan. He wears so many hats. He is not capable of representing the interests of Ontario families at large. His job should be to listen to stakeholders like the Electrical League and to listen to their issues on apprenticeship ratio. Just because they have views like us that you need to modernize, Pat Dillon shut him down. He's not capable of doing his job. He is a Liberal partisan.
Thank you. Minister.
Speaker. Mr. Speaker, of course we're aware of Pat Dillon. He was appointed to the WSIB by the Conservative Party when they were in power. But, Mr. Speaker, Pat Dillon is part of a group representative of the apprenticeship system and the skilled trade system across this province who have been asked to look at a series of complex issues related to apprenticeship. Let me share with the member who some of the other individuals are. The chair of the group, it's not Mr. Dillon, the member was wrong when he said that. The chair of the group is Rod Cameron, who's retired former Dean of Technology at Fanshawe College and a motor vehicle mechanic. We also have, Mr. Speaker, Hugh Laird, the Executive Director of the Ontario Systems Contractors Association. We have Gail Smith, Mr. Speaker, the Executive Director of Skills Canada Ontario, who was recently in this legislature.
Final supplementary.
Let's be clear. Pat Dillon chaired the Ottawa session and then was shortly in the media thereafter attacking one of the very stakeholders appearing before the committee. And what has become clear is the minister has no intention of firing Mr. Dillon because you dispatch Mr. Dillon to attack your critics in a partisan manner while you pretend to take the high road. And senior McGuinty Liberals like Don Guy, the member for Vaughan, have orchestrated the Working Families Coalition to campaign on your behalf. Quite frankly, Mr. Dillon is so focused on being the Liberal attack dog, he is not capable of doing the job that you've given to him. He is clearly in a conflict of interest. And, Minister, are you so deep in the pockets of the special interests?
Ask the honourable member to withdraw the comment, please.
Withdraw. Minister, will you do the right thing? There's a clear conflict of interest. Will you show Mr. Dillon the door today?
Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I would point out that Mr. Dillon comes from an organization which represents 150,000 apprentices in the province of Ontario. Mr. Speaker, I have been very proud of our government's record in terms of building apprenticeship in this province, and we want to make sure that we have voices around the table who represent important sectors, and I consider 150,000 apprentices an important sector of this economy. Mr. Speaker, let me tell you who else is sitting around the table. I mentioned Gail Smith, who heads up an organization which reaches out every year to tens of thousands of young people in this province to convince them of the value of skilled trades. I can talk about Al West, Vice President of KJ Beamish Construction. Al West represents the small business community in this province. I can talk about Norm Wolfson, a partner in...
Thank you. New question, Leader of the Third Party.
Thank you, Speaker. This is to the Acting Premier.